All right, well, we got day 19 of the RPG a day challenge with the question, which RPG features the best writing? You know, I'm struggling with this one because in my head, the question is asking something different from what it sounds like it's asking in my head, or the way I view it. And I think we're all this way. We all have a different way of processing things when something like this comes up. I remember an adage some years ago. Heard it. Oh God, I hate the yawns. Just you can't stop them. And I'm not going back and retrying. Every time I turn around, I'm going to yawn again anyway. This old adage of that if I ask a certain person the question, if somebody comes up to me and goes and says, "What is oh, a cavalier or a paladin?" and a lot of people are going to see the same thing in the same light as being a historical do-gooder in a knight in shining armor with more uh, to him than the average field knight or soldier. But other people, if you were a BattleTech enthusiast, and as I was for many years, somebody come up with the what is it this, and I first thing I'd think of, well, it's a 90-ton mech, or it's a 60-ton tank. And the trap is it's the same concept. I understand what the other person's referring to. I understand the concept of the paladin as a character class, as the paladin as the epitaph, the epitome, the pinnacle of the medieval knight kind of shining armor, follow your creed and code, and so on and so forth. I understand that one too, and as soon as it clicks that that's what you're referring to, I'm on board with it, But we process material and store it in our heads in various different ways. So when we look at this, it says which RPGs features the best writing. Well, when I think of this, I'm thinking the best, the most easily understood set of mechanics and rules set out. So it's written with very precise, very concise wording, very easy to understand, easy to translate or to explain to other people, and or the the way it reads is the best writing, as in the most entertaining, the most the most evocative, the most alluring to you, that will bring you and draws you into this world, this gaming system, this world that they're creating. So you want to become more involved. You want to be in this world. You want to play it. You can imagine yourself being in this particular gaming setup. It's rough. I mean, you know, you go back and, well, I mean, shoot, I was just talking about Twilight 2000, and the story descriptions in here are really good stuff. These are talented writers. Most of these people are talented writers, and it got better as over time because those guys that started out early, they polished they polished their skill set, they polished their craft, if you will, and become better writers, more thought provoking, more entertaining. Then there's the material itself. As we developed more and more games, we had a broader and wider view of the world of gaming and how these things should be, and allowed more freedom, if you will, less constraints to fill those pages. And then there's that part too. I call it the fluff and filler. And half of what we get today in most of these gaming books, and especially the source books, that's what it is. It's fluff and filler. What they're trying to do is to spin up a story, or give you this verbiage that will draw you into the world that they've created for this game system, or that this game system is promoting. And if they can do that successfully, they attract your attention, and what happens? You end up buying book after book after book, even if you know you're not going to play the game system because you enjoy reading the material. There's that chance someday you will play it and you'd like to have all this stuff. But the reality is it's not any different than buying the latest novel coming off the shelf that you're into. You buy these because you like to read what you read, and it's not. And let's be honest, majority of us are not buying it for the dry mechanics. The bonuses and modifiers and the pluses and the skill sets and on and on and on. Because no matter how you turn those, no matter what game system you use, there's only so many ways that you can apply the skill climb, and you can turn it into any number of different words. You can give it some little nuances and tweaks, their version of house rules stuff, and it's still going to be climb. You can, and the basics, whether you're using a percentage, a D6, a D10, a D20, pick up sticks to decide your success or not. That's the initial thing. At this point, for the majority of most gamers, you could just simply say your skill set's climb and not even bother putting a set of mechanic in there, because everybody's going to know, okay, let's roll this, and traditionally, it's either going to be strength or it's going to be dexterity or a combination thereof, and the modifiers from that apply. So apply your strength modifier and make your roll. Then there you go. It is what it is. It's just like we don't need half that stuff that's in there, but we want it. We want it. We want it because it gives us a sense of complexity and an ease of complexity, because then we don't have to question or scratch our head or debate as to how we're going to resolve the situation with climb. Can you climb this ice-coated rocky cliff? And if you can, what's the difficulty to do so? And that's one of the reasons that a lot of more experienced GMs don't need to refer to these sets of rules as much as they did when they first started, because A, it's in your head, you've already absorbed a lot of it. B, common sense, right? Obviously, an ice-coated, crumbly cliff is going to be much harder to climb than a sunny, moderate slope. Make a this check with this modifier. No big deal. But that doesn't bring us to the world. We're not there about that. We're about, I want to be in the Pathfinder world. I want to play in the Star Wars universe. I want to immerse myself in the Hyberia with the Conan. I want to run alongside Conan, or I want to be Conan. I want to, be part of the adventure of the Lord of the Rings, or I want to explore the caverns of Moria and so on and so forth. And to do that, you need to have a very vivid imagination and a basic set of instructions or base set of directions, or a really elaborate storyline. And that's what the wording come in. And there's some game systems I've read that the verbiage is just beautiful. Even the mechanics, the way they lay them out, is just awesome. And we're not talking the font or the layout of the system or the graphics, the physical way of it. The pictures, one picture's worth 1,000 words kind of thing is true, but 1,000 words is still 1,000 words, and if they're crafted properly, if your wordsmith has done his work or done her work, it's going to be a beautiful set of prose that's going to draw you forward and help immerse you into this particular world. This kind of goes hand in hand with something that Tim said a while back, a Samwise 7 fellow, about immersion. How much do you immerse yourself into a game? How do you know the difference between just playing a game, going through the motions, and becoming in that universe, in that world? Okay. And we're running into 10 minutes again because I'm running, rant, and rave. I won't speak for anybody but me. I will give you opinions, and I'll say in my humble opinion, or in my opinion, or it's just my opinion. For me, And it's this way since I was a child. When I first picked up my first book when I was 6 years old and started reading, and I read some really thick books back then because I just was hungry for that. I didn't have we didn't have cable, we didn't have internet, we didn't have, we just had here and a lot of what we could find in the book. The For me, this isn't a struggle. It's a movie. It's TV. When I read, I visualize. I can see in my mind, or at least my mind interprets what I want to take out of these words. So when I read something about this topic of climbing, I'm actually envisioning these people trying to struggle themselves up this particular terrain in my head. And it happens so quick and so fast. It's easy to immerse myself into these things. Now, that's where the additional story verbiage, the storylines and background and backstory and all this other stuff come into play because it just makes more depth, a more deeper immersion into the given game system. And in part, this is one of the reasons why we see such a wide range of similar game systems. And I'm not, we can go out there and fire them off. And okay, Vampire the Masquerade, we got Ravensloft, and we've got Call of Cthulhu, and we got Mysterious, or whatever. There's like 7, 8, a dozen game systems set with a vampire theme going on. And while some are more in depth than others, I loved Ravenloft when it came out because I'd never seen Vampire the Masquerade, and then I seen Vampire the Masquerade, and today I'd equate it to a vampire version of Game of Thrones, and that's the real lure for me. And the reading material in it drew me in. I took a glance at the pictures and I thought, oh, this is some interesting stuff. And I was never into that genre. I was never into that horror or neo vampirism thing, but I'm drawn into the potential for the world building and the complexities that are there, the possibilities of players being members of a clan or a house that are in competition with everybody else. That's one of the reasons I like MechWarrior, BattleTech and stuff, because you can envision yourself as part of an effort to defeat all comers or to subtly make your way through a very convoluted and complex environment. And it's immersing yourself so deep that we live the story. We're living the novel. That's one of the reasons that some people are such devoted readers to a specific author. They love that guy's style or that lady's voice, and they're compelled to see themselves in this environment, or to them, we're viewing it from in 3D, in color, as a movie on print. And there you go. There you go. Which RPG? I'm sorry. I can't pick. I can't pick any one because the ones I have, Shadowrun and MechWarrior, the lion's share of the material that's what it's about. And even Twilight 2000 sitting over here, it's the source books, while small, are very thought provoking and very well written. They draw you in. Merps, Middle Earth, Iron Crown Enterprises had some awesome wordsmiths. I mean, awesome. The whole system is beautifully designed and written, and yet simplistic at the same time. And then there's some that are so elaborate and so thick, and in part their storyline lacks, and because they focus more on the font and the way it's laid out and the graphics and the we're going to make it look like an old tome kind of thing, and less on us, the people behind it with the pen that created it. There you go. My 2 cents for the day. Y'all have a good day.